You know those moments in life that just stick with you forever. I've got one that I need to share, a night in Bangkok that honestly changed how I see everything. But let me start from the beginning, because this story isn't just about one night. It's about how sometimes the most amazing things happen when you're not even looking for them. After my divorce, I was pretty messed up. 3 years of marriage down the drain, and there I was, trying to figure out who I even was anymore. My buddy Mike kept telling me I needed to travel, get out there and live a little. He'd been to Thailand a few times and wouldn't shut up about how it changed his life. At first, I just rolled my eyes. Typical tourist stuff, right? But after staring at my apartment walls for another month, I thought, why the hell not? I started poking around on Thai Friendly before my trip. Let me tell you, that was an experience in itself. Most of the conversations went nowhere, lots of hi, handsome messages followed by rates and short-time offers. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't looking for anything serious. After Sarah, that's my ex, the last thing I wanted was another relationship. But I still needed some kind of connection, you know. Even if it was just for a night, I wanted it to feel real. Then came this profile that stopped me in my tracks. The photos looked almost too good to be true. This tall, stunning girl with bleached blonde hair and curves that would make a saint sin. But it wasn't just her looks. She was wearing these incredibly classy outfits, standing in high-end locations around Bangkok. The kind of photos that made you think, there's no way this is real. Her profile said she was a freelancer named Pim. I messaged her, not expecting much. But then she replied in perfect English, and for those few messages, it felt different. We clicked, but before I could get her line ID, poof, her profile vanished. I figured it was just another fake profile, maybe some scammer using a model's photos. I tried not to think about it, but something about her stuck with me. A few days later, I was on Thai Cupid, just browsing around out of boredom, and there she was again. Same photos, same girl. I couldn't believe my luck. I messaged her right away, reminding her about our brief chat on Thai Friendly. She remembered me, or at least said she did, and this time we managed to exchange line IDs before anything could go wrong. That's when things got interesting. Over the next few weeks we talked every day, not just small talk but real conversations. She told me about her life in Bangkok, her job as an admin officer, her dreams. She was smart, the kind of smart that makes you sit up and pay attention. She'd share these insights about life that made me think, there's so much more to this woman than meets the eye. Yes, she was a freelancer, and yes, she quoted her rates up front. But our conversations went way beyond that. We shared photos and videos of our daily lives. She'd send me pictures of her lunch at this little street food place near her office, or videos of Bangkok traffic that made my commute look like a Sunday drive. I showed her my life back home, my dog Max, the snow that she'd never seen in real life. When I finally landed in Bangkok, the heat hit me like a wall. Even at night, the city was hot and humid, but somehow it added to the excitement. The first couple of days I just explored, getting my bearings. Sukhumvit Road was exactly how Pim had described it. A mix of modern shopping malls and street vendors, luxury hotels next to tiny local restaurants, all connected by this endless stream of people and traffic. Finally, the night came to meet her. We'd agreed on this club in Sukhumvit Soy 11, not far from my hotel. I got there early, partly from nerves, partly because I wasn't sure how Bangkok traffic would treat me. Standing outside that club, watching the parade of people coming and going, I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my chest. Then I saw her walking up, and everything else just stopped. You know those moments in movies where everything goes slow motion? It was like that, but real. She was wearing this black dress that hugged every curve, high heels that made her legs look endless, and her blonde hair was styled perfectly. But it wasn't just how she looked, it was how she carried herself. Confident but not arrogant, sexy but classy. People were literally stopping to look at her as she walked by. When she reached me, her first words were, "You're much more handsome in person." She said it so shyly, so genuinely that it melted away any nervousness I had. All I could say was, "You're more beautiful in person too." Cheesy, right? But in that moment, it was all I could think of. Inside the club, the music was pumping, some EDM track that made the floor vibrate. She was tall in those heels, really tall, and combined with her perfect features, a thought crossed my mind. After a couple of drinks, when we were both more relaxed, I gathered my courage and asked her straight up if she was a ladyboy. Some guys might have danced around it, but I figured honesty was the best policy. Her reaction was priceless. Instead of getting offended, she just laughed, pulled out her ID and then kicked off her heels to show me her actual height, a good 5 inches shorter. "See," she said, grinning up at me now. "Just good heels and good jeans." We both cracked up, and somehow that moment broke any remaining ice between us. Then came what I can only call a moment of pure magic. We hadn't reserved a table because I thought we'd just have a few drinks and maybe dance. But this guy who'd been drinking alone at a table behind us suddenly approached. "Hey," he said, "you can have my table." My friend stood me up, and I'm leaving. I must have looked sceptical because he added, "Seriously, enjoy it. Sometimes good karma comes back around, right?" He left us with a nearly full bottle of top-shelf vodka, mixers, and a bucket of ice. Just like that, our casual drink turned into a VIP night. Pim's eyes were sparkling as we sat down. "See?" she said. "This is special already." The next few hours were like a dream. We drank, we danced, we talked about everything and nothing. She told me about growing up in Bangkok, about her family, about her dreams of starting her own business someday. When a Thai song came on, she taught me some dance moves, laughing at my clumsy attempts to copy her graceful movements. The more we talked, the more layers I discovered. She was ambitious, funny, and surprisingly vulnerable. She told me about her struggles, about trying to make it in a city that can be both generous and cruel, about her hopes for the future and her fears about getting older in a culture that values youth so highly. When the club closed at 3 a.m, we were both riding that perfect buzz, happy, relaxed, connected. Back at my hotel, things got physical, but it wasn't just physical, you know. There was a real connection there, something that went beyond the usual tourist girl dynamic. Afterward, we were both starving. Instead of ordering room service, we threw on some clothes and walked to the nearest 7-Eleven. There's something surreal about being in a bright convenience store at 4 a.m, still in club clothes, picking out snacks with someone you've just shared such an intimate experience with. We bought this random assortment of Thai snacks, some spicy seaweed chips that made me reach for water, these weird but delicious grilled squid strips, and some green tea Kit Kats. Sitting on my hotel room floor, eating our convenience store feast, Pim opened up even more. She told me about her past, how she'd had a Thai sugar daddy when she was 18, a guy in his 50s who paid her 10,000 baht weekly. But instead of blowing the money on parties and shopping like some might have, she invested it, got some cosmetic work done, yes, but also bought an apartment and helped support her parents. "Life is about opportunities," she said, munching on a Kit Kat. "Sometimes they're not the opportunities you dreamed of, but you take them and make them work for you." There was such wisdom in that, such practicality mixed with hope. She's 30 now, and after a recent breakup with her boyfriend, she's back to freelancing occasionally. But what really lit up her face was talking about her dreams for the future, settling down, having a baby, maybe starting her own small business. "I want to create something," she told me, "something that's really mine." We crashed for a few hours, had another amazing session in the morning, and then reality crept back in. She had to leave, and I had meetings to attend. The goodbye wasn't awkward though. We both knew what this was, and we were both grateful for it. I tried to meet her again before leaving Thailand, but my schedule was packed. We're still in touch, sharing messages and keeping up with each other's lives. I'm definitely seeing her again when I'm back in Bangkok. Not because I'm harbouring any romantic fantasies, but because she's become something I never expected. a friend. Looking back at that night, what stands out isn't just the physical attraction or the luck with the table at the club. It's the genuine human connection we shared. In a world where everything is increasingly transactional, especially in the tourist areas of Bangkok, we found something real. Even if just for one night we dropped our guards and saw each other as people. Not as a tourist and a freelancer, but as two humans sharing stories, laughs and a moment in time. That night taught me something important about life after divorce. Sometimes the best moments come when you're not looking for anything serious, when you're just open to experiencing whatever comes your way. Pim wasn't just a beautiful woman I met in Bangkok. She was a reminder that every person has a story worth hearing, dreams worth understanding, and a capacity for genuine connection that transcends circumstances. Will I see her again? Probably. But even if I don't, that night will always remind me that magic can happen in the most unexpected places, with the most unexpected people. Sometimes all it takes is being open to the possibility that there's more to people than what you see on the surface, more to life than what you're looking for, and more to love than what you've known before. And isn't that what travelling is really about? Not just seeing new places, but seeing life from new angles, meeting people who challenge your preconceptions, and maybe, just maybe, finding pieces of yourself that you didn't even know were missing. That night in Bangkok gave me all of that and more. It wasn't just a good time. It was a reminder that life still has the capacity to surprise and delight you, even when, or maybe especially when, you least expect it.